So Linus Tech Tips has returned after a little over a week, and they didn't leave off on a good note with me. So let's see what the plan is.
It's been a long time since my boss called me into their office and gave me a stern talking to. It wasn't easy, and I had it coming. But the good news is that most of what the boss, that's you, is asking for has been underway for months, or in some cases even years. That's why we're under new management. But as happy as I am that Terran's here, he can't make these kinds of changes alone, which is why step one was an all-hands meeting to hear directly from everyone on our team, and step two was to kick off an unprecedented company-wide period of introspection. No videos.
Why is this voice so breathy in this video? He must have been talking a lot over the past week.
No tweets, no product launches. For an entire week, we have done almost nothing but dig through every misstep and conduct face-to-face meetings between our teams with the goal of surfacing the communication and the teamwork challenges that have brought us to this point.
Slightly.
It's been a bit of a roller coaster full of passionate disagreement and then finding common ground, airing grievances, and then reconciliation. But through it all, we put together a plan. It took longer than the week that we promised you, but the way that I see it, that's not a bug. That's a feature. And it...
Why? Okay, that's it's not a bug, it's a feature. You shouldn't have had to leave in the first place. What do you mean?
underscores our new commitment to do whatever it takes to move beyond just entertainment to become the authoritative voice that you guys deserve and the one that we all want to be. Before I lay it out though, I just want to address two important groups. First, to everyone who wanted to see us rise up from this better than ever, I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing our passion for technology. Thank you for the countless messages that you guys have sent, encouraging us as we navigate this difficult time. And most of all, thank you for being willing to criticize something that you
Thank you for being a friend.
love in order to make it better. We're here for you. We are not going anywhere. Second, I want to address everyone who wanted to see us fail. I guess all the same stuff. We're here for you. We're not going anywhere, and you're going to have to deal with that. Let's kick off.
I don't want to see them fail. I want to see them succeed. I actually love Linus Tech Tips. It's just, they're getting a little bit too big for my liking, and it's getting out of control. And I feel like eventually a company is going to take over instead of just a CEO and owner. That's not going to be good.
With the content reforms then, shall we? For starters, along with our reduction in video output to get a handle on all of our new quality-focused process changes, we have officially killed the haven't missed an upload in 10 plus years mentality, and we've made it
Oh my god, good. Because what's the point of releasing a video if it's absolutely garbage?
explicitly clear that if a video is not ready for prime time, we're going to stop the presses until we've had a chance to make the proper fixes. Now, that
Wait, hold up. That's just if you have a video that has mistakes. What about if you've got garbage content? Are you just gonna just shit it out? Because I know recently there's been a few videos where it's just been like heating the pool using a server. Yeah, no thanks. That's boring.
sometimes come in the form of an on-screen correction. But there's going to be better transparency. We've created a clear rubric that defines error severity and prescribes the appropriate fix, which can range from a pinned comment to a full reshoot or even the outright cancellation of the video. You're going to find that linked down below. Second, we've made significant changes to project management and load balancing with a prioritization on in-person meetings to help define project scope and ensure that everyone is aligned. Our expectation going forward is that nobody is ever just making graphs about something that hasn't been explained to them or that they don't fully understand. This will not only improve accuracy, but it will give us the opportunity to present data in more interesting and more digestible ways. I've actually got a preview of what this might look like from an upcoming video that the labs team is super proud of, where they're analyzing the consistency of performance across a 12-unit sampling of what are supposedly identical AMD Ryzen processors. Based on these preliminary results, it looks like you can buy the exact same computer as your friend and end up with pretty different performance. Interesting if true.
I mean, it is somewhat true, not just because it varies from computer to computer, but more because I know more of what I'm doing and I'm more willing to break my system than anybody else that I know.
Of course, I'm not going to ask you to take my word for it. We have a lot of progress to make on our goal of
I also use Linux, so that helps a lot. Windows is just hungry, man. It's a hungry hippo.
publishing our full testing methodologies, but we've opened up the forum thread that we promised soliciting feedback, and we've outlined the dates that we're expecting to deliver on some of our methodologies and the open sourcing of our in-game testing harnesses. For those who don't want to click the link, you can expect to find some updates around the middle of September. A good methodology is only a small part of the battle, though, and if there's one thing that we learned from all of this, it's that we need better processes for accuracy checking. The good news is that flowcharts are good for more than just memes, and we have just such a process now. Every video with labs testing will be checked by labs 1 to 2 times before shooting, and then an additional time after the video has been edited. Any show-stopping issues found during these reviews will do exactly that. They will stop the show. You guys deserve better than what we've delivered up until this time, and that's what we want to give you. After our internal reviews this week, we have unlisted and demonetized multiple videos that contained erroneous data, and we will be updating or otherwise issuing error corrections on others. You'll find a link to a summary of these changes to previous labs content down below, but our priority going forward is to
I want to hear what he's got to say about the companies that he screwed over, though.
publish our error corrections according to the new guidelines that I gave you guys a moment ago. One problem that we can't solve internally is that nobody can know everything, and even experts can make mistakes. That's why we're kicking off the Error Checking Community, or ECC Squad. It's still in the alpha stage right now, with a group of fewer than 10 extremely knowledgeable community members, and we may or we may not ever expand it beyond that, but we are going to have a link down below
That's
if you're
why
interested in
I don't trust them, is because of things like we may or may not expand this. We may or may not be selling a bunch of t-shirts. We may or may not be making all of our money from t-shirts.
hearing more about this program in the event that we roll it out more broadly. In the short term, as we roll out all our new processes and inevitably find some wrinkles, these folks might find stuff that does get missed. But in the longer term, our goal is to have our internal systems be so solid that the ECC Squad pretty much turns into a free early access group for subject matter experts in our community, with the odd actually to help us do better. Now, something I want to be clear about is that you are still going to see some ad hoc, less formal testing. I mean, we've got a video coming up where I'm fixing my computer and I run over to Lucas in the lab to help diagnose a dead power supply. We're going to conduct quick and dirty tests where
Do I care about a video like that? I really don't. Like, who cares if you're fixing your computer? Especially if you break it. I mean, yeah, I understand that it's cool to see how to actually troubleshoot and fix a computer. But the way they do it is just, I don't know, man. I miss the Scrapyard Wars days.
we just take 2 laptops and press buttons and see how long it takes to open an application. Sometimes the full treatment isn't necessary, but we're going to make sure that we are clearly communicating that to you. Finally, recognizing that improvement is a journey, not a destination, we're using our newfound time to run weekly writing team postmortems to identify the areas where we're killing it and the ones.
Okay, what I was getting at is the experiments that they do are boring. They need to come up with some better experiments, like, I don't know. I bet they already have this, but something that's like building a computer out of a car, or turning a car into a computer, something like that. Like just a regular car. Build a car like a Tesla, but without the auto driving whatever.
Where we're really not. Our findings will be used to both improve accuracy and also the quality of our content. Moving on to the business side of things, there's not much changing here except more transparency. And that's actually a common theme throughout all of this. We've recognized many of our biggest areas for improvement for years. I mean, that's why we have the sponsor complaint thread on the forum, for example, which we've now committed to providing weekly updates on. And that's why we had our internal sponsorship guidelines, which now you will find linked down below, available in public. That's also why we brought in an experienced manager, Taryn, who is off-site this week, or I would have brought him in to chat with you guys as well. There are some other changes we've committed to and followed through on, providing more proactive information to our team during crisis time. We've built out a clear schedule for one-on-ones between team members and managers, and we've established a path to reducing the number of direct reports for each manager, and a bunch of other stuff that we're going to continue to work on in the background. I do think one of the most pressing things that you guys want to hear about, though, is that we have revised our process for item tracking to a heartbeat system that requires our procurement team to
Linus Tech Tips is turning into the McDonald's of tech news and reviews.
follow up pending projects and update their status. They didn't do anything wrong before, but this should help to avoid any confusion going forward around items that start out as we don't need it back and then turn into a loan later on. I do not want to see something accidentally end up in the Christmas party pile or any other don't need it anymore pile again. Now, let's talk about our workplace culture. We offer a solid benefits package, including extended health, mental health, and dental coverage, as well as retirement savings contributions and matching. We proactively host regular team building events, including Summer of Fun, which gives every full-time local employee up to $300 to spend on any activities they want with other members of our team, bi-weekly gaming nights in the lounge with free food, weekly badminton nights, bi-weekly softball nights, and a quarterly budget for department-wide team building events. We organize occasional surprise field trips where people are paid to.
We are a family at this company. We gotta treat each other like family. That's what that sounds like to me.
Have fun together, and our Christmas parties are legendary, with surprise bonuses that over the years have included free laptops, wild raffle prize hauls, and $10,000 in bonus money per person.
I like that. Is there a video of that? Because I'd like to see that, where you're just giving away stuff to your team members and your employees and stuff, and they're just all freaking out because they're like, oh, new laptop, new $1,000. That's a video I'd watch.
Not once, but twice on that last one. And while we don't make a point of talking about that stuff much, and while
I actually think it would be a good idea if they did one of those prank videos where you go on the streets and give people stuff. I think they could do that. Disguise themselves.
While our intention was never to publish our findings, earlier this year, we also asked our HR team to conduct one-on-one meetings company-wide to identify key issues and do a temperature check to see how everyone.
Also, I think they do too much for their community members. I mean, not too much for them, but they don't do enough for people that are outside of the community. Like, how are you going to invite more people into the community by just focusing on your community?
This feeling. Our communication internally about the actions we've taken based on the surveys hasn't been perfect. We've gotten some feedback that the Monday morning meeting notes are dense and hard to parse. But in June, we laid out a roadmap for many of the improvements that we had already made or planned to make based on the one-on-ones. Now, for those of you paying very close attention, you probably heard me mention our HR team, which isn't consistent with the impression that many people seem to have of our structure here. A portion of our community seems to think that the only option to report grievances here is to your boss or to your other boss. And I just don't really know what to say other than that is simply not the case. There was a time when we were very small, and yes, I did handle all the HR complaints. That was years ago, and the same is true for Yvonne. In 2018, we passed 25 employees and we engaged an outside HR counsel to advise us on what we were doing right and what could be done better. In 2020, we grew to 40 team members and we brought in an outside HR firm, making them available to all employees if they needed to talk to them. This was on top of the usual recommended conflict resolution steps of discussing your issue with the other person, talking to your manager, talking to their manager, talking to ownership, or filling out an anonymous feedback form. Then, as we approached 100 team members, we added a dedicated in-house HR department with the goal of providing even more resources to our team. To be clear, Yvonne and I do both still have an open door policy, so team members do still have the option of talking to us directly if that's their preference. And I don't know how to emphasize this enough. Everything that I just talked about existed before last week. This is not some kind of knee-jerk, reactionary corpo nonsense. The one exception, the one new thing, is the emergency upgrade that we made to our health plan. In recent weeks, a shocking number of our team members have been harassed, bullied, and even threatened on social media.
Wonder if they're going to talk about that one girl that I'm pretty sure is just outright lying about being sexually assaulted and things like that.
So, effective September 2023, we have doubled.
Because I bet it was a situation where everyone was talking dirty, because that's what you do in the workforce. And then she was probably in on it too, and then later was like, oh, well, you know, I really didn't like that. That's just one of the things that made me quit. Bullshit.
Our coverage for mental health counseling. And all I have to say other than that is that if you're one of the people who engaged in this behavior, I refuse to refer to you as members of our community. You know who you are, and shame on you. Not one of our team members deserved that. We have a zero tolerance policy for any of that crap, and we always have. Regarding our workload, we work hard here. I've never denied that. But we also aren't running some kind of deranged Twitter 2.0 ultra hardcore operation. This is the morning and night surveillance footage of our parking lot at the studio for 5 workdays leading up to our week of introspection. We offer some flexibility around start and end times, so you'll see that some people roll in starting around 8:30, and then, as you can see, the ones who arrive later are typically gone by around 6:30. There are exceptions. That Friday, you'll see, we were filming up until the WAN show. Thanks, guys. Also, our cleaning contractors come in after hours. That's their van, so that they don't disrupt production. And sometimes folks will stick around if they need a big space for tabletop gaming. But to characterize our environment as some kind of 24/7 sweatshop is, frankly, ridiculous. We also do work overtime sometimes. We're in a competitive industry.
Yep.
It happens, and I've never denied that either. But we care about our team,
me some
and
overtime.
I think this is reflected both in our commitment to cut content moving forward until we get our house in order, and in our historical turnover rate. From 2013 to 2023 inclusive, our average turnover rate was 7.5% with a median value of 7.7. Those numbers include both people who resigned their positions and people who were dismissed. For context, according to workforce research firm Mercer, the Canadian average is 18%, while in the US it's around 20%.
Not bad.
We have had 2 years over that span that were less than exemplary, but even then, we were lower than average. Removing the people who were dismissed from their positions, we fall to 3.65% average, 1.9% median.
But how many people are working at the company, and which part of the company? Are you talking about company-wide, or just in like the main company? Because if there's only like 50 people, that's a big percentage. I mean, if there's 300 people, that's like maybe one person.
Being a media company, our departures are a little louder than most, but in the grand scheme of things, I hope you guys can see that the numbers show there really aren't that many of them. But with that said, we have heard you as part of our for the hardworking members of our team. We have no plans for layoffs. We're even still hiring. Our rainy day fund is going.
Wish they'd hire me. I'm working 2.5 jobs right now. I'm working at retail, and I'm working at a bar, and I'm working as a stagehand. Plus, I'm doing this.
to comfortably carry us through this storm. The vast majority of this team is world-class. They care so much about our community and igniting passion for technology, and they are going to be here for you.
Well, at least that response wasn't as bad as the first one. Still didn't address some things that I'm concerned with. And I wish they would fire back at that one chick that was saying that it was a hostile work environment. She probably made it hostile. Well, anyway, let's hope that Linus Tech Tips does a lot better, because I want to see them succeed and not be corporate, though.